Ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy down at the Playmakerz, your host of the Playmakerz Blog Podcast. And for myself and Dallas Gunn here at the Playmakerz Blog, we want to thank you for spending your Thanksgiving holiday, your Thanksgiving week with us, as we're going to sit here and give you one big episode where we cover college football, wrestling, and the NFL in this one big episode, about an hour and a half long. We ain't want to do too many episodes because it's Thanksgiving weekend. We want y'all to enjoy your Thanksgiving with your family, your friends, and enjoy the food and the football that you're going to get. So we're going to recap what happened in college football the week prior, and we're going to get into some of the big rivalry games of this week and some games that have bigger implications as for conference championship and playoff seasons, so to speak. Wrestling-wise, we're going to recap the weekend. It was Survivor Series weekend. You had the TakeOver and you had Survivor Series. NXT showed why it's the best brand in WWE, and we're gonna get into all of that for the wrestling portion of it. And then in the NFL, my Rams lost, Dallas Jaguars lost. Ain't much to get into, much to say on that. Green Bay, they looked terrible. Green Bay looked terrible in San Francisco. Carson Wentz and the Eagles, they can't right the shit whatsoever. But with that being said, we're gonna give you our Thanksgiving picks for Chicago at Detroit, Buffalo at Dallas, and New Orleans at the Falcons. But the rest of our picks, you can catch it on the website, www.theplaymakerzblog.com. All the rest of the picks from college football and NFL will be on there. And we have a big announcement at the end of the show, so sit back and relax and enjoy the episode, and happy Thanksgiving. Ladies and gentlemen, we as well not going to leave you Thanksgiving weekend without giving you an episode. So we're going to give you one big episode, and we're going to cover all the things that happened over the weekend. You know me, your host, Donnell, the Playmaker Silence. You know my co-host who's always with me, Dallas Gunn. How you doing?
Doing good. Doing better than I was Sunday night, but doing good.
You ready for this episode, Dallas? We got a lot to get into.
Yes, a crap ton.
So we're going to kick it off in an order of where things started and happened, you know. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump into the college football ranks. And Dallas, Ohio State, they got tested and they passed it.
Yeah, you know, it's weird, man, because, you know, pro game is different than the college game. But it's just weird what happens when you have a defensive end that is a true bona fide number one NFL prospect. Like, Ohio State made every single mistake you could possibly make and still won by double digits. It's one of those things where, like, in this era of college sports and college football and football in general, we forget, like, when a defensive end, when an edge rusher has that true skill level, not just NFL caliber, Darnell, there's a difference between NFL caliber and what Chase Young is right now. I mean, you see Nick Bosa in San Francisco and think to yourself, dang, he was just in college last year and he didn't even play all season. You look at Chase Young and it's just like, dang, like, that is absurd. He had, what was his stat line? Like 9 tackles, 2.5 sacks or something like that?
That guy there is ridiculous. Matter of fact, he came back and broke the sacks record at Ohio State.
Yeah, he has like over 13.5 sacks this year. And like, to put that in perspective, I think I got the AP Top 25 right here. Ohio State is 11-0. They've played 11 games. To put that in perspective, this is a guy who plays in a conference that at one point had 2 teams in the top 4. He plays in a legitimate conference with legitimate competition. Who, Darnell, we might want to mention that, you know, there's some offensive line talent that gets drafted from the Big Ten. There's some tight end talent that gets drafted from the Big Ten. This guy isn't going, it's not like he's doing this in the Sun Belt or anything. And it's not like Ohio State is just any school that's just happened to arise in the past couple years. Breaking a sack record in the Big Ten Conference for any school is pretty significant. In only 11 games. Hasn't even played a bowl game yet.
Yeah. In other news, Baylor defeated Texas in our fan game of the week from last week. Good job, Baylor. Michigan survived Indiana, setting up for the big showdown for this weekend coming. Navy took down SMU.
Yep, and I just want to say, I may have been right then, but you were right in the end. When the team has a chance to go head up, it really doesn't matter. The polls reflected it after the game. But, hey, SMU had a chance. Now, I think Navy's in the driver's seat in their division for the conference title game.
We're going to get to that. Virginia Tech took down Pittsburgh.
And Darnell, that's not even the biggest concept. Like,
Virginia Tech shut out Pittsburgh.
Virginia Tech beating the team that played for the ACC title last year is not the most significant thing in all of this. Virginia versus Virginia Tech being for the Coastal title and the Orange Bowl appearance is what's the most significant thing out of this. Virginia Tech's coming in hot. They're coming in like a meteor right out of the ozone layer. And the Virginia Cavaliers, Darnell, there is a chance that a team we haven't talked about football-wise in ages could play in the Orange Bowl. Unranked, mind you.
The things we go through in college. USC slapped around UCLA. Sorry, Chip Kelly.
College is a different thing, but like, are we going to start looking at do we need to start having a Dallas Glenn Chip Kelly watch? Is that another name we need to add to the hate board? Because it's Los Angeles, California. Public university, unlike the private Southern California. There's a thing at USC. No, USC might be a state university. But either way, LA, no sign of a resurgence. Help is not on the way. A lot of recruiting going on in that conference. I think we might need to put some on the radar. Because if Chip Kelly can't go back to the conference he found success in, recruit in that conference, and run his college spread system in college, what are you doing down there in LA? You went from Jim Mora, who at least coached with the Falcons, to Chip Kelly, who coached with Oregon and the Eagles, and nothing's going right. Who is the NFL guy at UCLA right now?
Don't know. UAB has made the Conference USA West Division a whole lot interesting.
Oh.
They took down Louisiana Tech, and we have a three-way tie between Louisiana Tech, UAB, and Southern Mississippi, who messed up by losing to Western Kentucky.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm on the standing right now. I don't know how this tiebreaker works because La Tech and UAB are undefeated at home, 3 losses on the road. Southern Miss is 4-1 at home, still has 3 losses on the road, and is 7-4 overall. So I don't know how this is working. Maybe conference, no, because division wins. Maybe I don't know how this tiebreaker is working.
That's something to look forward to. Hawaii. I'm gonna let Dallas tell you. I'm just gonna say Hawaii.
You all thought they were done. You all thought they're going to the Hawaii Bowl. They have their 6 wins. Let's stop paying attention to that team 7 hours away. But no! But wait! The San Diego State Aztecs, who are only allowing 65 rushing yards per game, got ran on by the team that just does nothing but pass the ball. 14-11. Hawaii beats the San Diego State Aztecs. And Darnell, that's not even the most significant consequence. Hawaii, for the first time in school history, is going to be playing for the Mountain West Conference Championship. Congrats to those Rainbow Warriors.
Maybe they won't be going to Hawaii for the bowl game.
Because it makes you wonder. Now,
so before we get into any more, go ahead and give them the top 5 list because I'm interested to hear this week's list.
Memphis, Cincinnati, Boise State, Appalachian State, and then at 5, those tough old boys, those sailors and Marines plugging on a way, possibly to an American championship and a win over Army at the end of it all, the Navy midshipmen at number 5.
Yeah, so if I'm hearing this correctly, Memphis, Cincinnati, Boise, all stayed the same. Mm-hmm. Appalachian State is at 4, thanks to Southern Methodist losing to Navy. And speaking of Navy is at 5.
Mm-hmm.
There's your top 5 list. There is your top 5 list, ladies and gentlemen. So, about 9 minutes in, Dallas. This is a very important week, Dallas.
It is.
For many different reasons.
Yes.
What do they call this week at the end of this regular season?
Oh, this is that one week. This is the week. This is the only week that matters for some teams. Rivalry week.
Rivalry week for college football. Can you believe it? The week is finally here, Dallas.
It seriously feels like the season just started. It flew by and like what happened?
So now we want not have the privilege of knowing the playoff rankings this week, unfortunately, because of the week that it is. So unfortunately, we can't help. But I will say this though, that is gonna laugh. He's going to laugh when I say these two words, Herm Edwards.
Dude, Darnell didn't want to believe me. Darnell wanted to keep hope. Darnell wanted to be a contrarian, but I said it like week 4 or 5. The Pac-12 is done. The Pac-12 been done. The committee's been trying to tell y'all in the nicest way the Pac-12 ain't getting in, and now, well, now forget the Pac-12 not getting to the playoff. Justin Herbert might have effed the money up. A lot of things went wrong for that conference, Oregon and Justin Herbert's pockets. When Herm Edwards went in there with 32 for Darnell. He played 32 freshmen. The team is made up of freshmen. He's playing for the future. He is trying to develop his roster and build a culture like that one quarterback from Jacksonville keeps saying. And he just went up in there and upset the number 6 team in the country. Ruined the playoff for his entire conference.
So go say the line. You got to say the line.
You play to win the game.
So the reason why that I agree with that is because I don't think Utah's beating Oregon in the Pac-12 championship. I'm just going to be honest.
But to be honest, though, even if they did, the crazy thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm about to look at it right now. The South Division isn't even locked up yet. Yeah, it's
not even locked up yet.
Like, it could happen. USC is 7-2, Utah 7-1. But here's the thing about how college works. Just kind of sort of like the NBA, where division champions can be seated higher with a worse record or whatever the heck. No, division championships don't matter in the NBA, right? Like they really don't.
No, they switched that. They changed that up last year.
So division champions do get a higher seed?
No. Don't matter. Don't matter if you win a division or not. Well, whoever got the better record gets the home court advantage.
Okay, I thought so. The weird thing in college is, Darnell, Utah 7-1 in conference, USC 7-2 in conference, USC's 8-4, Utah's 10-1.
Utah has one more conference game left.
Exactly, but the thing is, it's conference record for conference championship, and I can kind of sort of understand that, but at the same time, it's like, so what?
So
but that's how you know, though, the Pac-12 is done, because you're talking about freaking 20-something USC maybe playing a 2-loss Oregon team for the conference title. That's not going to fly, boss.
Utah has to. I think Utah is playing Colorado. They have to beat Colorado, and they'll be in the Pac-12 championship. If they lose, USC is going, because USC beat Utah, because I watched that game.
And I can't believe this is right. I'm USC picked a hell of a time to have a bye week.
Oh, yeah,
I don't see it.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be home watching Utah, see if they win or lose.
That is crazy. Yep, they've played 12 games. Wow, they've played. Okay, well, yeah, they literally went a whole season straight with no. Wow, that is nuts.
So Alabama with Matt Jones did not slip up. They handled their business.
I mean, come on, Darnell, tell the whole story. Be a journalist against.
Even though it was against Western Carolina.
FCS Western Carolina.
Yes, they didn't. They still put on the showing that they needed to show for right now. So now they have a date at Auburn for the Iron Bowl. That's gonna say a lot. Georgia, Dallas.
What can you say? Like, seriously, let's be real. Let's keep it 100 here. What really? I mean, bro.
That stat line. I still don't. I looked at it. I don't seen it. I still don't want to believe the stat line and how that game went. Texas A&M had a combined rushing average of -1, and you only win by one possession.
Now here's the thing that sucks, Darnell. Here's what really is like trash. It's rivalry week, so you're basically playing historic games. You're not playing, this is the one where it's tradition, the unwritten rule. They're playing Georgia Tech because, let's be honest, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, it's Georgia Tech.
They actually play each other.
Who, Georgia State?
Mm-hmm.
They played earlier?
Georgia State and Georgia Southern play each other this week.
Oh, them. Okay, I get what you mean now. Yeah, so Georgia Tech is trash right now. If I remember correctly, if I'm hearing correctly, Georgia Tech is transitioning away from the triple option. Just like Army back in the day when Army tried that little experiment. It takes a while. You literally have 3 platoons of triple option players on your roster, and you're trying to play a conventional offense. It doesn't matter if it's smash mouth, doesn't matter if it's spread. It's going to take a long time, and you're going to suck. So you got Georgia Tech basically trying not to be Georgia Tech. And it's an ACC team, and that is the perfect game for Georgia to walk up in there and act like they got some sense. It's going to be it's going to be a Power 5 win. They're going to go in there. They're going to right the wrong. I mean, it's going to be so bad because it's like until Georgia loses, how do you – Georgia's getting the treatment that Clemson should have got. And Clemson's getting the treatment that Georgia should be getting right now. Do we really think Georgia's going to beat LSU?
No. Hell no.
So, dude,
matter of fact, if they do beat LSU, that's how Georgia and LSU locked up, and Clemson and Ohio State locked up.
Humor me, Darnell. So we already they did the worst possible thing you can do. You dominate a team and hold them to -1 yards per carry, and you only win by 6. Do you know what that means? That means you are a defensive team that is carrying the offense, and it is only a matter of time. So now you're going to have to go up against the only LSU team in school history to have a 4,000-yard passer, 1,000-yard rusher, and 2,000-yard receivers, and you're barely holding on to beat Texas A&M. But we're still mad at Clemson for beating North Carolina by a couple points.
Y'all keep playing around. Y'all going to end up having Nick Saban right in the playoffs again. Y'all keep playing around.
Because here's the thing: if Mac Jones, and mind you, Darnell, this is the different. This is what gets wide receivers drafted in the first round. This is what gets running backs drafted in the second round before when they were a 4th rounder. Games like the game that Alabama is going to play against Auburn is how you go into the top 5 and make you some money. Last time I checked, Alabama has some Biletnikoff Award finalists and a former Biletnikoff Award winner strapping up on Saturday. Mac Jones ain't got to do it by himself. If Alabama beats Auburn and that freshman quarterback, who, God, I hope he didn't have a press conference this week, it's trouble because the committee's going to look at Alabama and be like, dang, that's a complete team win. They carried their backup quarterback. Imagine if Tua had played Auburn. It would have been even worse. Whereas Georgia, oh, God, if Georgia struggles against Georgia Tech, oh, God.
Oregon had the opportunity to close the door shut on Alabama. They end up getting beat by Arizona State. Now the Pac-12 got to hope that Utah can win and possibly beat impressively enough. Then you got Oklahoma, who's at Bedlam at Stillwater this weekend. And they have a rematch with Baylor for the Big 12 championship. Y'all keep messing around. Y'all gonna have Nick Saban right in the playoffs again.
And just to let everybody know, even if Oklahoma State were to win and Baylor plays who?
Oklahoma. That's already set up.
No. Baylor plays who this week?
Baylor plays. I don't even know who Baylor plays.
Well, okay, because I'm trying to basically. So they play. Oh shit! They play Kansas. So just for
Les Miles.
Kansas is 1-7 in conference. Oklahoma State is 5-3 in conference. Even if Oklahoma and Baylor were to both lose this week, which would definitely knock them out the playoff, but just hypothetically, they'd only be 7-2. Oklahoma State would be 6-3, and Kansas would be 2-7. So no matter what happens, Oklahoma and Baylor is going to play each other in a rematch for the Big 12 championship, and that's where things get tricky and sticky. Because, it all depends on if Utah screws that pooch or not. Because, right now, because all we can do is go off of the AP Top 25, which, by the way, if y'all forgot, awards their own national championship that just coincidentally happens to be whoever wins the college football playoff. Utah is 6, Oklahoma 7. Oklahoma could have the chance to beat a very good team twice. Baylor has a chance to say, we beat everybody. It's the age-old, well, yeah, but, we beat them. We got them on the rematch when it mattered for the conference championship. And, I mean, to be honest, if Baylor were to go 12-1, beating Oklahoma in a rematch, I mean, that's kind of tricky because you only have Alabama, Utah, and Baylor to choose from in that scenario. You can't choose a 2-loss team. It's just, you can't.
So, who does Navy do you have a glimpse of who Navy's playing this week? I take that back. They're not playing this week. They play next week. I take that back. This is their bye week. This is their bye week.
No. They play on the 30th. They play Houston on the 30th.
They play Houston?
The bye week is between the Army-Navy game. The bye week is between the Army-Navy game. So they play Houston.
They play Houston this week.
Now, just because this is just like it's mock draft time for both of our teams in the NFL. It is now bowl projection time. So you got to think. They're going to play. Actually, hold on, let me go back to these standards real quick. I don't think I saw that right. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Hold on. Let me say, I'm going to set you up.
Okay.
The reason why I asked Dallas who Navy's playing this week, because that division ain't locked up yet.
Mm-mm.
Cincinnati and Memphis get together on Friday, Black Friday. Cincinnati's already in the American Championship on that side. They've been clinched that. But if they just so happen to feel like, you know what, we want to send a message to people and they mess around and beat Memphis, Navy will be in the American Championship Conference game.
Yes, Navy, hypothetically, they beat Houston, who, let's be real, their quarterback redshirt, number one receiver redshirt, you can see it. They're 2-5 in conference, 7 overall. Navy beats Houston, they'll be 7-1 in conference. Cincinnati beats Memphis. Memphis will be 6-2 in conference. Right now, Boise State has been locked into third place. I can't remember who they lost to, but it was a terrible loss.
BYU.
BYU, thank you. Boise State beating an unranked Hawaii team isn't really going to do anything. However, Navy, Appalachian State lost to a Sun Belt team. It is what it is. We can't fix it during the Sun Belt. They lost to Sun Belt. It is what it is. Navy, however, has a chance to beat one of the two best Group of 5 teams from almost the entire season in the conference championship game. You would have to think. Now, Darnell, also help me out here. If Navy were to be the American West Division champion, do they lose that bye week between the Army-Navy game?
Yes.
So they have to play. So here's the thing. Because at that point, Navy plays, if Navy beats Cincinnati and wins the American Championship, they're more than likely going to be the best Group of 5 team. Because everybody would have played conference championships and nobody else would have a game. This is what happened, I want to say, the very first year of the New Year's Six. Navy was in the driver's seat, but they collapsed like 2 games before the conference championship. This time, I think the New Year's Six would actually get turned upside down because they have to wait for the Army-Navy game. I don't know if Navy loses to Army, even though they won the conference championship, if you put them in over Boise State if they lose to Army. So there's still a chance for the Broncos. But there's also a chance for the service academies. It's not done yet. You play to win the...
Boy, I don't know what to tell you with all this stuff. It's a never-ending cycle.
Also, just real quick before we move on for good. Just like it affects the college football playoff, it would really be fitting if the first year of the Playmakerz Blog Group of 5 National Championship that we had to wait until December 14th to figure out who the national champion is. They can really F the entire game up if they go on a hot stretch.
That is definitely true. So we're gonna pick some of the key games for this week. The West Side picks will be on the website, theplaymakersblog.com. They will be there, hopefully. That should be up there Friday morning before your Friday slate games come on. And speaking of Friday, Mr. Glenn, the battle for Virginia is also turned into the battle for the Coastal.
Who's going to get blown up by Clemson, or who is going to destroy the college football playoff? These teams are fighting for a very big responsibility. It's like Arthur and the Sword in Camelot. I mean, I kind of want to see the world burn. I want Virginia to win.
Ooh, Virginia.
I just want to see what happens if Virginia beats Virginia Tech, plays in the Coastal, and Clemson has trouble. I just want to see what happens.
You know why I hate you right now?
Why?
Because you just threw all my logic out the door and just intrigued me with what you just did what I wanted to do when Auburn played Georgia.
I just
want chaos right now. Let's give chaos.
You saw my post that week. I'm like, hey, either way, Alabama fans need to stop this foolishness. Auburn's about to do you a favor.
They almost did it too.
They were close.
I'm gonna pick Virginia Tech. Either way, y'all gonna get blown out by Clemson. So
here's the sad thing, though. While we talk about the Group of 5 national championship possibly going to a service academy in its first year, I hope they claim it. By the way, I'm going to do the biggest press run in the history of independent media if Navy wins the first national championship. But dude, there's a possibility that Virginia could go to the Orange Bowl. Darnell, when is the last? Did Virginia ever make a BCS Bowl?
That's a very good question.
Like, has Virginia ever been a football school?
Not really. Even though the Long brothers went there.
I mean, you talk about technicalities and politics. Like, it doesn't make sense for Virginia Tech to be in the Orange Bowl this year either. But it would just look so weird seeing Virginia. Like 2 years ago, or was it? No, yeah, it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Lord have mercy. Virginia versus Florida in Orange Bowl. Good gracious.
Oh, sweet Jesus. And like, help me out, please, because I remember seeing a V, but I couldn't believe it was an orange V. Virginia won in basketball a couple years ago, right?
No, they won last.
Oh, God. That's
defending champs.
Bro, that's why it's effing me up right now. Like, you mean to tell me there's a Twilight Zone where Virginia can win the basketball championship and win an Orange Bowl? What the hell?
Not as they beat in Florida. By the way, Kyle Trask is coming back for his senior year, so shout out to Kyle Trask. Gainesville, stand up, be proud.
Oh, bro, does he have a choice? Like, let's be honest here. Does he have a choice? I mean, he could transfer. That is a choice, but does he have a choice?
I'm expecting big things from his offense next year.
Get that degree, son.
The Cincinnati Sport meant to season or meant to say, nope, we're going to beat you this week, and then we're going to face again the following week.
Bro, I'm serious. The Service Academies haven't won national championship since the 40s. I hope Cincinnati wins.
You hope Cincinnati wins.
I am getting the biggest troll package. I'm ready.
I'm picking Memphis, man. Memphis at home, and then they got to flip and go to Cincinnati and play again. We'll see how that goes. But I'm going to pick Memphis at home. Bedlam, Oklahoma State. Do not hold on. Before that, let's go. I'm going to tell y'all this now. For those who It's looking like, why y'all doing it? It don't matter what the number in front of the team says. Rivalry week, throw everything out the door. Go ahead, Dallas.
The tricky thing about Oklahoma State, here is the thing that I think has been helping Oklahoma the past couple of weeks. It's been shootouts. It's been situations where, getting the ball back, defenses have to step up. Oklahoma State isn't your grandpappy's Oklahoma State this year. They're averaging 246 yards rushing, a pedestrian 229 and a half yards passing by Big Ten standards. But with that, though, they're still averaging, nobody's going to help me with points, so thanks a lot. But either way, this they're running a lot. Chuba Hubbard is definitely making his statement in his case for not only being one of the best OSU running backs of all time, but getting himself some money in the NFL draft. Eating clock can be a factor. It is different when your quarterback is not the best running back on the team. I think it happens, Darnell. I think Oklahoma State, after watching film from the past 2 weeks, I think Oklahoma, by running out from the skin of their teeth and having help from the refs for the past 2 weeks, I think running the ball and eating the clock and your best running back on the team not being your quarterback causes the upset.
Ooh. And these games been close for the past years. These games been close.
Darnell, just to kind of sort of, finish my point. Oklahoma the past 2 weeks, their defense has shown up for that one possession, but it's still been that one possession. Chuba Hubbard, a Big 12 running back, has 285 attempts for 1,832 yards and 20 touchdowns this season. What makes you think Oklahoma's defense is going to do anything to stop that?
Boy, Jalen Hurts, I'm more roll with you, Dallas. Jalen Hurts, you going to Stillwater. You have never been to Stillwater before, my own. That is a different place.
I mean, I know I'm bringing it up, and I know but I'm telling you, Darnell, the problem is these teams have been playing Oklahoma and trying to go tit for tat. Chuba Hubbard almost has as many rushing yards as his starting quarterback has passing yards. That is the only way you stop Oklahoma. The only way you stop Oklahoma is to keep Jalen Hurts off the field, and everything else takes care of itself.
All right, Iron Bowl. Will we see the first year of Alabama not in the playoffs, or will Alabama say, y'all out y'all right behind my if y'all think we not going to be in the conversation?
It's different because Alabama, they've had Amari Cooper and Julio Jones, but the difference is they have a Biletnikoff winner that stayed healthy the entire season and will be suited up to play this game. I mean, it's not so much Tua's hurt, which is a huge factor, but it's also dang, I mean, Alabama has a really good receiving core. And what has Auburn's defense and man coverage really shown you to where a Biletnikoff Award winner coming back from experience can't have a good day? I think that it's Jerry Jeudy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Jeudy is going to make himself a top 10 pick this game. This is the game where a wide receiver shows, maybe I can draft a wide receiver in the top 5.
The whole world is booing you right now.
I mean, hey, look, Gus Malzahn has had how many opportunities in the BCS? And he had 1 year with one quarterback. And then what happened? You have to think, it's Gus Malzahn with a freshman quarterback. Gus Malzahn with 3 losses. I mean, it is what it is. Now, that being said, I think, dealing with a freshman quarterback that said that he doesn't see why LSU is a big game because he played against 100,000 people in Florida to start. I think he should get a mulligan this year because when you have a freshman quarterback that dumb, she'll let you know what the coach is dealing with. But it is what it is.
You have to boo me too. I'm picking Bama.
Look, it's everybody likes to focus quarterback, and everybody likes to talk about Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes because they're a nice new toy. But dude, it's a team sport. It's 11 guys on offense. It's 11 guys on defense. And Alabama has had great wide receivers before when they were playing 3 yards in a cloud of dust. This is actually a wide receiver friendly offense, an offense where you need the passing game to work, and Jerry Jeudy has a chance. This is where legends are made. Because Darnell, please help me, please. How many legendary Alabama quarterbacks are there throughout history?
They'll find legendary.
Exactly. So they're the best player in Alabama history ain't even a quarterback, more than likely. You gotta go all the way back to Joe Namath before you even get to Tua. So Alabama's gonna have to play Alabama ball, and Jerry Jeudy's gonna have himself a day.
All right, let me get a group of 5 in here real quick. So Conference USA, Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why I put this game on here because the Panthers can ruin Marshall.
Explain.
Yeah, miss is that the Owls of Florida Atlantic.
What do you think happens if FAU wins the CUSA this year? Do you think Lane Kiffin, tries to go to greener pastures, or do you think that convinces him to stay because he actually has a winner?
I have no idea. I can't. That his ego is hard to predict.
It's tricky to not only find a school because there's balance. You don't want to go to a UTEP. You don't want to go to a UNLV right now who just fired their coach, who was 85-5 at Bishop Gorman High School, and it was on 14-19 or something like that. It's tricky. You found a school in Florida, great climate, great weather, great people, crazy people, but great people. You're winning. I mean, you're in a situation now where it's even easier to make a major bowl game than it was in the BCS. All you gotta do is just be ranked 17th. It's his ego is hard to predict, but man,
he can be Southern Miss and claim the East, or he can lose to Southern Miss and hope the Panthers upset Marshall at Marshall.
The Panthers coming off a huge win, but here's the big old problem. We got to remember these are scholastic athletes. Do they drink their own Kool-Aid? I mean, they just got done beating a Power 5 team, a team whose fan base could have swore they were back. Now they're playing Marshall. A good Marshall, a solid Marshall, but
somebody got to win the East, and somebody got to win the West, but we ain't going to get to the West.
I think you have to get up to an extraordinary level. I think your head coach has to do something ridiculous to win a Miami game. When you're a group of 5 school in that area of Florida going against Miami, it's different. I think that was a head coach win, not a players getting up for it win. So I can see FIU beating Marshall. I'm going to pick FIU.
I'm going to pick Marshall. All right. It's the game. Right. Second test, number 2 for the Buckeyes. And it's the biggest rivalry. Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Time to get fired.
Ohio State across the board.
It's time to get fired, big fella.
Dallas said he had enough.
All I know is his brother went straight from being a special teams coordinator to a coach. He was about to
now,
which I just don't understand.
Dallas, the people of Minnesota, they get to roll their boats 9:00 in the morning because college game day is going to be at the University of Minnesota as they take on the Wisconsin Badgers. The winner will meet Ohio State in Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship.
PJ Fleck is the star of the Minnesota Golden Gophers football team right now. Unfortunately, and I could have swore I said it last week and the week before, I might have said this sentence verbatim. Unfortunately, for whatever reason in college football, programs that have never been there before need to learn the hard lesson of not looking ahead. Got upset last week against Iowa. It happens. However, PJ Fleck finally has the boys looking in the mirror. He finally has them bringing their chins just a little bit down and looking at him at eye level once again. Coach is going to right the ship. That's going to be a very good win against Wisconsin. Now, talking about looking ahead for a quick second, them beating Wisconsin, earning a slot in the Big Ten championship game, I don't think they have a shot against Ohio State. However, at one point, we had the team ranked above Penn State. I think that was Penn State was like number 8. A Big Ten champion with one loss has to get in. But would we really say Minnesota is better than Alabama or Georgia? Hell, Utah? Will we even put Minnesota in over Ohio State? Does Ohio State still get in that scenario?
That's a lot of questions for the committee to choose. I'm rolling the boat. Yes, I am picking against Wisconsin. I'm going to roll the boat on this one. So that's your college football for right now. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? It's a long process. It's a hard thought out process. Yeah, I know. I was there from March of this year, thinking about how I'm going to do this, doing all my research, trying to get everything right. What platforms can we use and how we going to record it and how we going to make it sound good and make it all this happen. And then I came upon Anchor. The Anchor app on my phone, the easiest choice I could ever make to do a podcast. It's free to use. You don't got to pay for nothing. You can record episodes whenever you're ready. You can edit it and then you can release it when you want to. And you don't have to worry about trying to figure out how you're going to distribute it on other platforms because Anchor has partnerships with Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Cast, whatever you name it. Because the Playmakerz Blog Podcast is the podcast that I use. We're on all them platforms. We're on 9 platforms just by using the Anchor app. So pretty much all the questions that you have questions about doing a podcast, go to the Anchor app or go to the Anchor website, anchor.fm.com, and just search through it, ask questions. Because I tell you, a free app that does all this, there's nothing more you can ask for. I even got friends, they doing their podcast on the Anchor app. Faith Talk, you might have heard of it because it's very good. And it's great that it's an app like this, it's a website like this that makes it easier for people to do podcasts and do what they love best, talking about the things that they love to talk about. So give Anchor a try, see how much you like it. We'll love to hear your podcast. Now let me and Dallas switch gears here because we did have a takeover and a bid for a pay-per-view, am I correct?
Yeah, and it's weird because I was keeping track as best as I could, and from the emergency show when everybody was stuck in Saudi Arabia to Sunday night, all I could think to myself was Triple H and Shawn Michaels have always been 2 of the best politicians in the history of professional wrestling. Triple H. And Darnell, you have to think this is a long game with Triple H because all wrestling historians remember when they did the curtain call where they basically broke kayfabe way back in the early 90s when people still believed it was real. Everybody left, and Shawn Michaels was Shawn Michaels. Triple H was the one that had to accept the punishment. Then way back when Shawn Michaels is trying to tell Vince that Triple H is going to be the guy, and 2 guys called The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin just came out of nowhere. So Triple H plays his role. He's the 3rd guy. Then has a WrestleMania main event against Chris Jericho when he comes back from injury for the undisputed title. Basically runs Raw for the Russo's aggression era until they switch the world titles. And you start to notice that he makes this stiff transition. Starts wearing suits to the ring during angles. They start recognizing him as the COO and all this other stuff. Then he cuts his hair. And now you're fast forwarding to everybody was stuck overseas except for NXT. His whole roster, his whole independent promotion that's backed by $1 million company was ready, willing, and able. And after weeks of the NXT roster being legitimized and exposed to the mainstream audience, after a TakeOver pay-per-view that, they had some surprises. They still tried to give you some stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, I feel like TakeOver was really, this TakeOver was more of an expression of the depth and versatility. I think it was more so of TakeOver was just one aspect of the story. It was just one chapter of the book because Darnell 4-2-1.
I know, I watched it.
Neither of us thought NXT. If anything, we thought NXT was the one. We thought NXT was going to get one. We thought that Vince was going to be Vince, and basically make NXT just legitimate enough to where people would watch on AEW, but Raw would be Raw. But oh God, Raw was not Raw. Raw was the one. I'll say this, Darnell. I mean, I hear people are kind of cold for the main event, but just being honest, I think Vince McMahon and creative, I think they understood what this year meant for Survivor Series. I think they felt the pulse because it wasn't looking too hot before that Saudi Arabia show.
I watched the show. Let me go ahead and get it. I finally come to this understanding with you. People are just going to complain for no reason. Let me ask you this question, because I know how hard you are on WWE, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say how it is. How was Survivor Series from what you've seen on Twitter or Facebook, whatever?
It was the best Survivor Series in the past 5 years, minimum. Maybe even back a little bit further.
This is the man right here, who I'm working with, who has not been looking for a Survivor Series, for who knows how long until this one. And yet some of y'all gonna sit here and say, hey, Survivor Series sucks because NXT won. Oh, the developmental got the pushover. I don't like that. I'm gonna say this again. Y'all have not been listening when we've been sitting here telling you NXT was the best brand of WWE.
I could have sworn we said that verbatim.
Y'all sit here, y'all watch Raw on Monday, y'all watch SmackDown on Friday, but y'all won't watch NXT on Wednesday, y'all watch AEW. And we sitting here telling you, bruh, y'all is missing the best of both moves in the same day, the same night, the same time slot. Hell, you can go back the next day and watch the one that you didn't watch.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, how I want to put this, these old school wrestling minded people, Dallas, they can't get out of their own ways.
I don't even think it's old school minded people, Darnell, because that's what NWA Power is for. That's what the Luchas have been for. Dude, these are people who are stuck in the Attitude Era. These are people who just can't grasp the concept that it's never coming back. They want AEW to be WCW, so it forces WWE to go back to the Attitude Era. But what people don't understand is you're crying over Corey Graves indirectly saying something about somebody's commentary. He didn't name Morrow by name. He didn't name Nigel and Beth Phoenix by name. He made it obvious that he was referring to them. But, dude, you're getting offended by somebody tweeting their opinion, and they're a commentator that has WWE is not going to start a podcast unless they feel like the personality doing the podcast can draw. And now you're getting mad over a commentator's opinion, but you want the Attitude Era to come back? You get mad when there's only one women's match on the show, but you want the Attitude Era to come back? You get mad when it's all segments and no matches, and you're watching a soap opera play on a TV, but you want the Attitude Era to come back?
Now, allow me to apologize to the Viking Raiders, because I wasn't thinking clean when I made that pick. Knowing, I should have remembered they only lost one match the entire time they've been on the main roster.
I just didn't believe that Vince remembered the Raw Tag Team titles or World Tag Team title. I could have swore because they had that belt that they would be cursed just like everybody else, but I was wrong. Roger Strong did the heel tactic to win the triple threat match. AJ Styles finishing off Nakamura. AJ Styles, you get thrown out of the ring. Roger Strong gets the pin. So I can't even fault AJ Styles on that. And you know what's crazy? That was one of the things I saw the most tweets against. Like, wait a minute, hold on. You guys complain about believability and the same thing all the time and everything. They haven't been using Nakamura except for Sami Zayn as a mouthpiece. Lord knows how credible he is now. They have Roderick Strong, who had every member of Undisputed Era, the least talked about. He has the newest title on NXT. I mean, dude, like, if you're going to have Roderick Strong win that match, you don't have him hit his finisher. You don't have him tap somebody. You do what happened. You had the guy who everybody thought was going to win hit his finish, and then have Roderick Strong do what heels do, which is cheat and be cheap and win. That's literally what you guys keep saying. That's what I keep saying WWE should be doing, is do stuff that makes sense that's different. Not do stuff that's different that don't make no sense, like having a man who we can clearly see on Instagram is still married have a restraining order from his wife.
Yeah. We're not even going to talk about, I don't even want to talk about Raw. We just going to leave Raw out of this.
Because they don't deserve it. They only won one match. They're voting Seth is going mad. Raw doesn't need it. They need time to heal.
I will say this in my defense, Dallas. I did get both the Survivor Series matches correct.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley did it 2 nights in a row. Even though the second one was kind of a cheating one, if you actually looked at it. Because let me explain to you what happened, Dallas. So the match begins, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how it gets to the point where you have this chaos of everybody getting hit left and right, right?
Yeah. Yes. Io
Shirai, Candice LeRae, they on the outside. They got to be escorted to the back. So technically, they're eliminated, right?
Mm-hmm.
NXT's down to 3. You know, you got the body, you got Flair, all this stuff. Asuka and Flair get into it. Asuka throws the green mist. Charlotte gets eliminated surprisingly. Like, damn, that really just happened. And that's Rhea Ripley's trying her damnness because she's the lone one left for NXT right now. Sasha Banks, Lacey Evans, they trying hard. Ripley gets rid of Lacey Evans. Ripley gets rid of Sasha Banks got rid of Asuka. So now it's the boss and it's Ripley. Candice LeRae, Io Shirai show back up. And NXT gets the win.
First, I mean, when you heard 15-person tag match, what did you think? But second, let's give Rhea Ripley all the credit she deserves. It's 3 nights. Because we have to remember now, SmackDown's on Fridays, not Tuesdays. But she goes in there, she has an upset, wins a triple threat match. We're doing a crucifix while Charlotte's doing the figure 8.
Ain't no kicking out of that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you're pretty stuck. It's just the biggest thing that I took away, and it's even more interesting when you think about which match they chose to go on last and how the crowd reacted to it and what Becky did after that match, who won that match. It's like Rhea Ripley's on NXT. She you almost want to say carried the brand throughout the 3 nights. She represented the brand 3 nights in a row, carried the brand, looked like a star. She looks like, I think she's everything that they wanted Nia Jax, Charlotte, Victoria, Chyna, Becky, Sasha Banks. I think she has the look, she has the physique and the presence, she has the skill. I think her promo ability and everything is only going to develop over time. Like, I think when you really look at it, when you really look at what WWE has been trying to do this whole time, the fact that WWE has really just given up all abandon. They've tried to push cruiserweights, they tried to push women, they tried to push heavyweights. Like, they made NXT a legitimate third brand. When I look at Rhea Ripley, I think to myself, like, yo, like, I think it's the perfect storm. NXT is a legitimate third brand. NXT needs its own firepower because it's going up against a promotion's flagship show.
The only show.
And, dude, like, people on Twitter are going to complain no matter what.
That's Facebook, too.
People on Twitter, they really just want to be jaded. There's not a lot of credibility with a lot of complaints because they're getting exactly what they say they wanted like 2 weeks ago. But with Rhea Ripley, I think for the most part, what's happening with her is organic. It's the slow build that you kind of saw with the Shield, where by the end of the Shield, you kind of realize that, like, oh, snap, all 3 of these dudes are going to hold the WWE title. With Rhea Ripley, you kind of see yourself like, you know what? She's going to beat Shayna. And she's going to end up beating Shayna on TV. And when she beats Shayna on TV, NXT that week is going to have over 1 million viewers. Now, if it beats AEW that week, I don't know.
Maybe AEW last week.
1 million a couple of times. But I look at Rhea Ripley and I think to myself, like, yep, that's what happened. That's what happened back in 2003 when John won that first U.S. title. That's what happened back in 97 when Stone Cold did the sermon by the throne. That's what happened, whatever year it was, when The Rock came out and said, I'm your champion. I'm the people's champion. Yep. I think this weekend is on par with those other weekends.
The funny thing is, with the men's match, NXT still took over because everybody was impressed with Keith Lee.
I know. And that's another thing, because, like, dude, think about it. Vince, for so long, like, she's going to be it. But Keith Lee is going to be the guy where it's like, oh, buddy. Whoa, man. Because, dude, that performance, and you know that they kind of like, they set up everything. We know how it works. They set up everything, but you still have to actually go out there and do it. You can write a script, but you still have to go out there and perform the actual thing. And Keith Lee, I mean, it's one thing to do it at Beyond Wrestling or Freelance Wrestling or AAW or the promotions in Texas where he was. It's another thing to do on NXT with the same partner over and over and over again in Donovan Dijak. It's another when you go out there at Survivor Series and you're in basically a triple threat match for Sole Survivor on the line with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns.
I'm gonna put it like this. I'm for sure forget about all those like who complain. There's a lot of people now that understands what they've been missing now. Because the long NXT match, Adam Cole and Pete Dunne, that delivered too.
Yep.
NXT is where it's at. Don't worry, SmackDown coming along. Whenever they decide to take the title off Bray Wyatt, we'll get somewhere. Because I agree with people that the red light thing is annoying in a way, but
at the same, like, here's the thing that, again, people don't want what they say they want, because Bray Wyatt, for the longest, has been quote unquote underrated, has been quote unquote underutilized, and now we're at a point where he is the Universal Champion. They switched titles. He was the one that he switched titles with. He has his own thing that happens during his matches. He has two characters that are completely different. Like, I thought this is what we wanted. I thought we wanted Bray to have like full, like, freedom as a character to develop and show new facets of himself. Now you guys are complaining when he's doing something that nobody else does. Bray Wyatt, the title defenses are not wrestling matches. They're slasher flicks. They're the scene in the movie where you're like, don't go in there. What are you doing? And you're screaming at the TV, and the dude just kicks down the bathroom door and gore for the next 30 seconds. That's a Bray Wyatt title defense now. But again, Darnell, I mean, I guess, that's not what people wanted.
Yeah. That's pretty much that's exactly what it is. He's not beating people down. He waiting for that one moment to say, yep, okay, now it's time to end you. That's pretty much what's going on here. You got all your licks in? That's it? That's all you got? Okay, it's time to put you down.
Mm-hmm.
The time when I sent you that picture, I'm pretty sure you know what that was for. A miracle almost happened, but the people would have lost it if Ray would have won that match, because how it would have happened. Brock Lesnar is whooping Ray's behind. Dominic comes out of nowhere. He has a towel. Make it seem like he's finna ready to throw in the towel. Like, no, I can't watch no more. I can't watch my dad get brutalized like this. Brock Lesnar snatches the towel. Ray low blows him. And after Brock Lesnar finally recovers, Dominic low blows him. They both hit the 6-1 out on Brock Lesnar. They both did the splash on him. Brock still kicked out. The place would have erupted if Ray would have won that match, but it didn't happen. That moment would have been so perfect. That moment would have been so perfect. I kid you not.
Mm-mm-mm.
And then the main event, Shayna Baszler tapped out Bayley. And now matter of fact, you think people getting tired of Seth Rollins? People getting tired of Becky Lynch now.
It's weird because, again, and I think I alluded to something like this last week. It's interesting because, you know, there's opinion, there's reporting, there's analysis, but it's weird because one of the things that happens in wrestling commentary / wrestling journalism, sometimes I cringe when I call it that, the latter, is, you know, because people know a little bit more about how things usually go, they magically start to get tired of people now. Like, I can only imagine what it would have been like when The Rock and Stone Cold were trading titles back and forth. I can only imagine what it would have been like when Goldberg had like the 500+ day streak where he was world champion and US champion, if we had social media and Twitter. Because dirt sheets were around. Magazines were around. But good God, Darnell. Like, I mean, bro, like, so you want Becky, if Becky has a long reign, they get tired of her. She's stale. Why did Bayley lose? Blah, blah, blah. But if Becky Lynch is hot-shotting with Charlotte, if we give Becky Lynch a bunch of reigns, then she's stat padding. You know, that could have been Ember Moon's. That could have been Carmella's. What about Mickie James? Give Dana Brooke a chance. Like, I know we opened up the wrestling part of this under this pretense, but we have to just keep going back to it because it's like, bro, like, what do y'all want? And if you can't get it from WWE, do you know how many other promotions except for AEW are out there? Or for whatever reason, did y'all just think that like AEW being a new promotion was like the second promotion in the world?
Any final words to close out this segment, because you're the wrestling guru of the podcast?
If I can say one thing, you know, going forward, because we got TLC coming up, then the Royal Rumble coming up, and blah, 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 blah. Like, y'all got to figure out what you want. I think around this time last year, when we told everybody it's December, it's the laydown period, blah, blah, blah. Darnell, they don't have that luxury this time. They don't have the luxury of having a laydown period because they have this upstart called AEW. So, guys, look, I'm not going to sit here until the December speech because I don't know when's the next time we're going to talk to y'all. But, dude, figure out what you want because it's a women's era. The women got the main event. The women had a tag team match. The women had a 15-woman match. You don't like that. You don't like that Becky went on last year. You're tired of Becky. Rhea Ripley's getting a push, and now you're saying she shoved down our throats because she won 3 days in a row. Like, just pick one, okay? Because we told you last year that you don't watch WWE for the men anymore. You watch it for the women. Now you guys are starting to get bored with the women that they push.
I told you about NXT. Y'all still didn't listen to us then.
And now you guys want to go say NXT versus AEW, but then you want to get mad and bitch when NXT blows out Survivor Series. What y'all want, man? Now some of y'all are probably going to say NXT needs to get out of Full Sail. It's too dark. They're going up against AEW. But when NXT starts... They've been said that. Yeah, but see, when NXT starts touring, oh, it's not authentic anymore. It's just like Raw and SmackDown. Full Sail gave it something different. # go back to Full Sail. Figure out what y'all want or watch somebody else because there's too many promotions out here opening up their press box. There's too many promotions out here that will actually tweet you back. There's too many wrestlers out here that need you to buy a damn shirt. It's just too much.
That's your wrestling for the week and probably next week too. So as we gonna let things breathe and we'll see what y'all do within the next couple of weeks. All right, the final agenda, Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to sum it all together, or you want us to take turns?
Go ahead.
So the Jaguars gave up over 40 points and lost to Tennessee. The Rams gave up over 40 points and got blown out on Monday Night Football. I see mine's coming. Dallas didn't see his coming. Matter of fact, I don't think the world seen the one coming for Jacksonville. I definitely seen mine coming. I knew the second Lamar Jackson did what he did to New England, and I watched my team play the weeks afterwards. I just knew, yeah, we not beating Baltimore. There's no way we beat Baltimore. And I don't say for the past 3-4 weeks that the Rams weren't gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is at this point in time. Now, I do have one problem because somebody who is a Rams fan on Facebook called Sean McVay overrated. Can you be called overrated after one bad season, Dallas? After you made the playoffs your first 2 years as a head coach? And by the way,
here's the weird thing because, like, first of all, nobody's really talking about McVay this year. Like, overrated how? Like, what we are talking about this year is how Jared Goff, and I'm still honoring the gentleman's agreement, it's just in context, how Jared Goff is not being worth the money right now. We're not talking about Sean McVay losing his team. We're not talking about Sean McVay needing to fire Wade Phillips because that 3-4 defense is from 2003 and ain't going to work in the new NFL. Because, for one, he has Aaron Donald at 280 playing 3-4 DN, which ain't about to work. Bro, like, who is talking about Sean McVay right now? How is he overrated, and define overrated? Because all that Wonder Kid talk and whoever touched Sean McVay, hired him talk, that's dead. Because look at the Bengals right now. I'm trying to figure out what exactly is overrated because, I mean, I haven't heard much Sean McVay discussion. I haven't heard much Rams discussion after that third loss.
So that's my only gripe. I knew what was coming. So next up is Arizona. But we'll see how we fare on that one. Same thing can be said about Jacksonville. Even though they got Nick Foles back, it's not looking good. We have two franchises. They need to work some things out during the offseason. And we just going to leave it like that. We're not going to get mad. We're not going to yell. We're not going to scream. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to leave it like that and keep it moving. Because Dallas, speaking of a quarterback who's been paid big money and is struggling, is one up in Philadelphia. I forgot his name. Carson Wentz. How did you look against the Seattle Seahawks, sir? Now, granted, you didn't have Alshon Jeffrey, you didn't have Jordan Howard, you didn't have Nelson Aguilar. I don't even count Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar can't even catch a touchdown pass to save his life. But, man, the Eagles are terrible. The Eagles are done. Are people calling Doug Peterson overrated, or are they looking at Carson Wentz?
Mind you, to be completely fair, and it's different if I talk about mine, both quarterbacks got paid. Both quarterbacks got paid like they were franchise savers and franchise guys. But if you're really going to look at the Philadelphia Eagles situation and blame Doug Peterson.
Thank you. Baltimore's the favorite in the AFC because New England is. Dallas, it might be a year where New England ain't gonna be New England. They beat Dallas, but it was an ugly way to get there.
Here's the weird thing about the NFL, though, and I mean, because we're in similar situations, not the same situation, but being where we are now, sitting where we are now, looking at mock drafts and stuff like that. I mean, dude, let's be real. Do we want to win flashy and have our coach be talked about and have everybody touching our assistants, or do we want to win? Do we want to be relevant? Do we want to win so much that it's not fun until the AFC Championship game? Yeah, they won ugly, but correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the Cowboys one of the teams you thought was going to knock off New England? Weren't you the one that said New England ain't going to make it to 15-1?
No, I did not say. Remember, I said Dallas had to go to Gillette State. They were not going to win that game. I was going to pick Philly, but remember they had all the injuries, and I said, yeah, and I came up and said, yeah, I was going to pick Philly, but nah, that ain't happening. Y'all got too many injuries.
So you still think the Chiefs is going to be the ones knocking the 14-2?
So pretty much I have the Texans and I have the Chiefs. So I have to choose between those two.
Now, mind you, because you just, indulge me. Like I've said before, and the reason why I'm just so done right now, and I wish that the Packers were selling shares so I could just buy some. Dude, the Texans and the Colts, the AFC South in general, they always like to they're never, the Texans are never going to be elite. They don't win those games. I don't know what happens when it's time, but they don't win those games. They look good in the division. They look good against the terrible teams that are just hard to lose against. But when it's time to be a perennial power, when it's time to get that first round bye and be a 2 seed or a 1 seed, it just don't happen. Now you're looking at the Colts. Jacoby Brissett's playing on a hurt knee, not bum knee, slightly injured knee, playing through some pain. And you got Deshaun Watson, where it's like, yeah, he's great during the regular season. He's awesome. Phenomenal. MVP candidate. What's he done in the postseason?
Ooh, speaking of great quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers got Now this is the moment where you come at me, Dallas, because Green Bay beat the brakes off Aaron Rodgers.
Well, yeah, yeah, dude. I mean, look, take it from the 2018 Bears, take it from the 2017 Jaguars and Vikings. It takes forever. It takes multiple drafts. It takes a hit or two in free agency. And it might not even show up the year you signed them in free agency. But when you build that defense, when you get that defensive coordinator, when you get the right mix between veterans and that one high-impact rookie, you're going to win a lot of games you're not supposed to win. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, he ain't in nobody's MVP talk for good reason, but like Mitch Trubisky last year, like Case Keenum and Blake Bortles in 2017, he's going to have a great game here and there. He's going to be average, and then sometimes the defense is going to say, son, just hand it off. Check it down. We got it. He's doing his job this year. That defense, Saleh and Bosa, Sherman, all them boys, this might be a one-year wonder. But Darnell, this is a hell of a year. This is a hell of a 104 total yards passing.
And speaking of hell of a year, my time to come at you. The Giants, really?
Who they play again?
The Chicago Bears.
Oh, yeah, because Mitch Trubisky got a lot of treatment this week on his hip. Look.
Dwayne Haskins, you had a great moment and you had a come on moment at the same time. You got your first win, but you got to take the final snap.
I don't know if you're gonna get to it. If you do, my bad. But it's crazy to think that the Jets are effing up their draft picks, trying to save Adam Gase's job, and then you look at the Redskins. It's like, God dang, what? How can y'all? What y'all gonna do next week? Y'all just keep finding ways. What can y'all possibly do to embarrass your fan base and make them wonder, why am I even here next week?
John Gruden didn't get his team ready for that Jets game. So the Jets have wins over the Raiders and the Cowboys. Go figure.
I mean, I don't understand.
So Thanksgiving, Dallas.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's damn. There are yeah. Okay, go ahead, hit me.
Chicago and Detroit.
Ew. Is old boy from Florida playing for Detroit?
That's still to be determined. I got it. Yes, you mind if I? Yes, because Bradford's done for the season. I mean, not Bradford. Stafford's done for the season.
Hell, might as well be Bradford. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So Bears. Bears.
Chi-town. Boy, if y'all walk in there and y'all lose to Jeff Driscoll, boy.
Help me out real quick, because it is tough right now. It is hard. It's just yeah, bro. How do you think Lions fans are doing right now? Like, they drafted a quarterback number 1 overall. He probably is the best quarterback in Lions history, and I mean, like, bro, like the way they started this season,
They got
The
too
way
many
they,
injuries.
it's unfair. I'm saying this as a Jaguars fan. It is unfair. It is ridiculous and asinine. Why does this keep happening to the city of Detroit?
Between Detroit and Cleveland.
I know, it's weird because Jaguars fans are young in the game, and we got spoiled at first. We don't even understand. Oof. We're babies in this. We're talking 60s. We're talking 70s. We're talking Detroit not being in the NFL championship game since the 50s.
Detroit and Cleveland, boy, they can't have success for whatever reason.
And it's weird though, because yeah, you had the Indians F it up. And yeah, you have the Browns just being the Browns. Like, it doesn't matter who's on the roster. It just, they're the Browns. But it's like, dude, like, Cleveland's like Philadelphia. Bro, Cleveland could ride that one ring from LeBron James for, like, ever. And the crazy thing is, I still remember when Tristan Thompson said, it was either Tristan Thompson or J.R. Smith. He was like, man, come on. Like, we're still the 4-time Eastern Conference champs. We'll be okay. They were not okay. But, God, dog, though.
Anyway, the game of the day for Thanksgiving. Circle the wagon, Dallas, because them Bills are circling around Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, the $1 billion paying against Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, no. I still say to this day, it confuses the hell out of me because I'm just trying to make it all make sense. But Josh Allen and that great inaccurate cannon arm of his is leading a Buffalo Bills team and a Buffalo Bills offense that is largely centered around that ageless wonder, Frank Gore.
Oh, they are 8-3?
So you mean to tell me it's a power spread team in the NFL with that always efficient and always effective Buffalo Bills defense going up against a team where, Jerry Jones is just about sick of it?
Oh, did you see the interview? Did you hear him after that loss to the Patriots?
I think Jerry Jones is.
He damn near fired Jason Garrett.
It sounds like he wants to. He's starting to hear the noise now. He's starting to see it now. Yeah, you didn't beat New England. You didn't beat Minnesota. You didn't beat New Orleans with a backup quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater for right now. Not being disrespectful, they're saying what it was. Yeah, you against playoff teams is not working out for you, Jerry. Now you're going to have another one come to you now because who's going to catch Buffalo for a wild card spot in the AFC? You're talking about a team with a third-string quarterback that has a 6th seed right now. That's a playoff team, Darnell.
Thanksgiving. Feast our family for the Cowboys.
Those big old buffaloes from Nigeria, from Niagara Falls, are coming in, guns a-blazing, bellowing across the plains of Arlington, Texas. Coming through the door, and the Cowboys are going to have hell to pay. Zeke Elliott, for whatever reason, what the hell has gone on here?
He got paid.
All I know is Frank Gore, God bless his immaculate soul. If you know that Josh Allen is very inaccurate, and if you know that you get up 2 scores against the Buffalo Bills, he might not be able to pass his way out that hole. And Frank Gore is out here churning up the ladder, 3rd all-time in rushing yards. The ultimate plottering yard churner. Just don't know how. What is going on, Sway? Then Amari Cooper out here just clank, clank. Clank, clank. Stephon Gilmore said, you know what? Let me go to work today, Coach Belichick. What's the scheme? We're going to stop Zeke. No, we ain't. That's okay. I trust my D-line. Man me up. So you got Amari Cooper out here. Once he faces a good corner, he done. You got Zeke Elliott don't want to show up going against that stout Bills defensive line. Darnell, that going to have to do it with Michael Gallup. Nobody circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills.
He's saying Thanksgiving's gonna be spoiled for the Cowboys. The Bills will have a 9 win on the season.
You went to the playoffs in 2017 with a 9-7 record and needed some help from Andy Dalton. You gonna have 9 wins with 4 games to go.
Ooh. And the Cowboys are a 6.5 favorite. Ugh.
Take it. Because when the Cowboys are a favorite on Thanksgiving, you know you about to make you some money.
Ugh. That looks tasty.
You got to do what you got to do.
I'm going to take the Cowboys. Because I'm going to take the Cowboys. And somehow Jason Garrett are going to be safe yet again.
Just remember, for everybody who might be playing some Vegas stuff and wants to think, if you're not picking straight, hold on. Computer's failing me once again. Either way, Bills are third in scoring defense, only allowing 15.7 points per game. They're third in total defense, allowing 208.6 yards per game, and they're third in passing defense. They're third in passing defense, only allowing 184.3 yards per game. If there's ever a game where Zeke Elliott needs to come to work, wave and say hello to the people, it's going to be this game.
The Falcons, y'all messed around. Y'all beat New Orleans. Y'all beat Carolina, and you lost to Tampa Bay. Guess what? Guess who's finna come in now? And not to mention, they didn't forget what you did to them 2 weeks ago.
Oh, no.
And now they do it on Thanksgiving on Sunday night, on which will be a Sunday Night Football Thanksgiving edition in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. So they finna return the favor what y'all did at the Superdome to the Mercedes-Benz Dome. The New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees is finna right the flow with y'all.
You hate to see it.
So I'm guessing the fact that you have no response means you agree with everything I just said.
Saints by 20.
So we're not gonna pick the games for Sunday. I'm gonna put them on the website. But Dallas, if I may give you games to look at, your 1:00 game, you might want to circle the Oakland Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs.
That has huge implications and ramifications.
That's your other 1:00 game you might want to circle is the 49ers taking a trip to Baltimore.
That has huge implications.
And for your 4:00 game, the Cleveland Browns and Pittsburgh in their rematch from what happened 2 weeks ago.
How do you go from the organization getting fined, your center getting suspended for 2 games, half the team getting fined, to benching the quarterback the whole team and organization got disciplined for due to performance?
He was terrible against Cincinnati. I'm saying it again. Mason Rudolph was terrible against the Cincinnati Bengals.
It was terrible, Dwight. Terrible.
Anyway, your Sunday night game? Oh, it's that New England Houston game. Oh, great. That means I got to make that pick this week. Great. I'm going to enjoy Thanksgiving first, and then I'll worry about making that pick. And then Monday night, Dallas. We putting Kirk Cousins to the test again.
Oh, no.
He's going to the 12. Kirk Cousins, you want to be $84 million? Guess what? Beat the league leading MVP right now. Or maybe that's wrong. It don't matter. You're playing against Russell Wilson in Seattle.
And you want to talk about if your team has a front office that overpays, if your team has a front office that reaches in the draft, here is the ultimate argument. Because yes, Kirk Cousins is playing on that game. Yes, Russell Wilson, the leading MVP candidate, is playing in that game. But Chris Carson versus Dalvin Cook.
Ooh, interesting.
If you want to have the age-old argument of do you pay the running back, that is the matchup to watch.
Ooh. So, the rest of your college picks, your NFL picks, as I said, it would be on the website. We just want to pick some key games for you real quick, on this Thanksgiving holiday. And before we get out of here, Dallas, it's Thanksgiving weekend. Let's give some thanks, shall we?
Oh, I'm thankful for my great wife. It's been over a year in and she ain't tired of me yet.
I'm thankful for life. What I've been through since June and still doing what I'm doing, I am thankful.
It's always great to wake up in the morning.
By the way, breaking news, people. We are on iHeartRadio now.
Tweeted out the link earlier, so go to our page. It's fairly recent. I haven't retweeted too much today.
So check us out on iHeartRadio. Mr. Glenn, he will have your group of top 5 list waiting for you before he gets on his Thanksgiving thing. And safe travels, my friend, and enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
I ain't traveling. I got family coming in, so we're gonna do what we always do.
I'm sure that'll be fun, especially if I think it's coming.
So, be thankful, people. It's Thanksgiving. You get your food, you get family, you get football. Let's be thankful. Don't do nothing retarded. Just enjoy the week. Enjoy Rivalry. We're going to have a lot of rivalries. A lot of black blood going to happen. We're going to have some craziness happen. Just enjoy the week. We'll get back to you next week. If you want to tweet at us, at Playmakerz Stuff. If you want to post something or you want to talk on Facebook, the Playmakerz Blog, we don't mind taking a little 2 minutes out of our day and just to respond, see what's going on. And as always, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Radio Public, Castbox, all the good stuff, and including iHeartRadio. So from us here at the Playmakerz Blog Podcast, have a wonderful Thanksgiving week, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Happy Turkey Day. Prayers to Detroit. Go Lions.